What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel and to another Overwatch League news video. And if you didn't already see, earlier today, we got some very exciting news. The Overwatch League is going to be in person for the playoffs and grand finals. We also got a fair amount of information about the general playoff structure and how the format will be working this year. We'll talk more on that later, though, because I wanted to start this video off with the more interesting and exciting news that we can all celebrate. Last year, we didn't have any sort of in-person playoff events at all, so this is very refreshing, and I think it's going to make the playoff atmosphere even better. It's going to make it more exciting, and it'll feel more like the good old days back in 2019 and 2018, respectively. Something that is very, very important to keep in mind, though, is not all of the playoffs will be covered in an offline format. First, we have to get through the plans, as that is going to be in the traditional online format that we've been dealing with for the last year or so. But it's after this that we get the fun. That's when it's all going to start, when we have the playoff bracket all set up. When the 8 teams competing in the double elimination playoff bracket are set in stone, we are heading over to Arlington, Texas. When we get to the weekend of September 16th through 19th, those 8 teams will be competing at that venue to decide who goes to the grand finals the following weekend. Once the grand finals matchup is set on September 25th, we will be having the grand finals be played at Los Angeles, California at the Galen Center, or Galen Center, not exactly sure how to pronounce it, but yeah, the Overwatch League grand finals is going to be held in LA for the first time in basically 2 years. Given that the 2020 grand finals were held in Korea, it's only fair that we move back into America for the next one. I mean, yeah, this is all just really amazing news, am I right? We get 2 different venues in like 2 weeks worth of time for these playoffs. That could not be any more exciting just because it's going to feel more like the old times. It's going to be more enjoyable. Oh, and if you're someone who wants to potentially go to one of these events, well, you're in luck because tickets will be going on sale in August, so keep that in mind if you're really interested in going. I myself probably will not be attending either events just because it's kind of expensive to travel and I'm a college student, I can't really afford it, but you never know. We'll see what happens. The league didn't really give us any specifics as to what week or day the tickets will be coming out next month, so make sure to continuously look for updates every single day as we reach August, because you never know when they're going to drop, and I'm sure those things are going to sell out really quick. God, I just feel so excited. Like, this was the energy boost we all needed. This is going to make the playoffs even better, just even more intense, more exciting, more enjoyable. This is a great time to be an Overwatch League fan. We're finally transitioning to more of a normal state. This could not be a better day to be a fan of this league. Okay, now onto the formatting stuff. So, as a quick refresher, as we all already know, the top 2 teams from the Eastern or APAC region, if you'd prefer to call it that, are automatically qualifying for the playoffs. Meanwhile, the top 3 teams in the West, or NA, also automatically qualify for the playoffs. Then, as we found out a while back, the other 3 playoff berths are all determined by the online single elimination regional play-ins from September 4th through September 5th. 1 additional team will make it out of the East, then 2 additional teams make it out of the West to form our 8-team double elimination bracket. In terms of the spots that come through the play-ins, well, here's how it works. So basically, in the Western Conference, seeds 9 through 6 all play each other first in like the first round of the whole knockout thing, I guess you could say. As the highest of those low seeds, the number 6 seed team gets to pick who they want to play in that round. Then from there, the winners of those 2 matchups go on to face the other seeds that are still remaining. Then from there, as the highest seed left, the 4th seed gets to pick whoever they want who's remaining. Then the 5th seed gets whoever is left. And then the winners of those 2 matches go on to make the playoffs. Meanwhile, the Eastern Conference is a whole lot easier. The 4th seed and 5th seed play each other, and then the winner of that goes on to play the 3rd seed, and then the winner of that game gets in. So yeah, if you couldn't already tell, the higher your seed is, the more advantages you get to exploit. But I mean, that's how it should be, right? If you play well all season long, you should get some sort of advantage over your opponents. You deserve it. You should be able to enjoy things like getting a first round bye, choosing your opponent for the next round, and even opening map selection if you're the higher seed in your current matchup. The picture for the knockouts is still not entirely clear. A lot of league points are still up in the air. A lot of teams could get out or in depending on how they do during these final 3 or 4 weeks of play. There's a lot on the line here, so this is going to be a really fun time to watch the league. In the East, you have some really fun storylines like the Mayhem fighting for their playoff lives. Then you have some really good teams all trying to get that 3 and 2 seed respectively, like the Shock and the Outlaws, the Reign, the Justice. There's a big time race going on there. Then in APAC, it should be really fun if the playoff picture kind of stays the way it is right now, because then you have Chengdu, Philly, and the Spark all kind of competing for a playoff spot altogether. I don't know how the rest of you feel, but that feels like a good time as a general fan of the league. Obviously, if you're a fan of one of these teams, if you support them hardcore, it's going to be really stressful, but I think it should be a fun ride nonetheless. Oh, and if you're wondering about things like opponent selection and whatnot for the double elimination playoff bracket with the last 8 teams, none of that stuff is going into play, I'm pretty sure. It's mostly just you get ranked by how many league points you have and where you finished in the league. Like, if you're a top 2 team in APAC, you're obviously going to be playing one of the lower seeded teams. And again, the same thing applies if you're one of the top teams in the West. You get one of the lower seeds. What I'm really excited about is the fact that we get more inter-regional play. It's not like last year where we only had 4 teams. Now we have 8 teams. The number of teams has doubled, so there's a lot of potential interesting matchups to be looking forward to. If these regular season tournaments this year have told us anything, that could mean we get some absolute chaos as 2 different philosophies are constantly clashing with one another. It really doesn't feel like it, but we're only like a month away from the playoffs. It's just around the corner, ladies and gentlemen. This season has absolutely flew by, but I can't exactly say it's a surprise. Just because last year things were really slow, COVID hit, there was a lot of chaos, there was a lot of panicking, and there's a lot of planning and weeks off, but we haven't had that this year. Things have been stable. The situation has been improving. So now here we are. After what felt like an eternity, we are back to in-person playoff action. The last time we saw in-person playoff action, the San Francisco Shock beat the Vancouver Titans. That feels like ages ago. The next few months should make for a very surreal experience as we head more back into a normal state for this league. And I could not be more excited to be sharing the journey with the rest of you. And with that being said, that's going to wrap up this news video. If you enjoyed this content and you want to stay up to date with all things news related, be sure to give this video a like and subscribe as it helps me out a ton. And of course, make sure to let me know what you think of playoff action returning to in-person, as well as the current format we have down in the comments section. And as always, thank you all so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate your support. And until next time, this is ATP, signing out. Peace.